here I am, back at the family home, packing up sticks. Not something I ever imagined myself doing, but, well, we all have to grow up sometime, embrace our adult responsibilities. And the council needs the keys back. Found the whiskey in the pantry. Mum never drank much, but kept a few bottles in for Christmas. A toast to her. Cheers. Somewhere down the line, I read that there are 7 words in Latin for our one English word, love. Love of family gets one dedicated to it, but none, to the best of my knowledge, to specify love of home. Bit of a massive oversight, in my humble opinion. This family home is the only family home I've ever known. Mum and Dad got the keys as a new build. We're the only family that ever lived here up until now. Dad refused to buy it when Thatcher made it possible. But it's hard to let it go. Back in the day, there was a truism prevalent, so Mum told me. A new house, a new baby. And that was never truer than with the arrival of my good self. At 43, Mum thought she was going through the change. Well, it was a change of sorts, and not entirely welcome, I suspect. She already had 2 teenage kids, the youngest being 15 years old by the time that I came along. A boy and a girl. They'd done their duty and had the perfect nuclear combo. She probably had visions of kicking back shortly and enjoying some quality time with Dad. Alas, here I was. Ta-da! But Dad always said that I came for a reason, and maybe I did. I'd like to think I did. To be there for Mum in the last few difficult years. Dad passed too early, and Mum was left on her own for a further 20 years. She lived in this house alone for 20 years. The last time I visited her in the hospital, she told me she'd imagined Dad in the hospital bed beside her. She asked me, "Where does all the love go?" I was surrounded by love growing up, but I don't really remember hearing it said much. That was all a bit awkward and unnecessary, but because I was lucky, it ran through everything, like fat marbling a piece of meat. I'd been living abroad, but always came home for a couple or 3 weeks a year. The smell when I opened the front door was always magical. Strange how a house has its own unique smell. The smell of home. No matter how long I was away, that familiar smell welcomed me, instantly recognisable. The hall, the stairwell that led to my back bedroom, just as I had left it. It's the last night I'll sleep in that bedroom upstairs, where my teenage brother would scare me awake with tales of bogeymen in the night. He was married at 23. I finally got a bedroom to myself at 8. Still, I missed him. His reassuring presence. His smell. He smelt like a mechanic. Because he was a mechanic. The only ghosts in here tonight are welcome ones. My dad sat in his designated dad's chair by the fireplace, reading the Sheffield Star after work. Mum rattling around getting his tea ready in the kitchen, and my glamorous sister painting her face at the dining room table in preparation for a night on the town. You can't see them, but they're all here, woven into the very fabric. I was working on my doctorate when the BSE panic hit the headlines. Mad cow disease was all over the EU media. Then came time to visit home. And on this particular occasion, one of the first things Mum said to me in welcome when I walked through the door and dropped my bags in the hall was something to the effect that she'd made a nice meat and potato pie. You might think it's a funny memory to share, and it is a funny memory, but it's been on my mind a lot since Mum passed, and for lots of reasons. First and foremost, it's because making that pie for me was a small but tangible gesture of her love for me. In this beloved kitchen where so many family meals had been created. A gesture that welcomed me home and said she was happy to have me home. She hadn't cooked much since Dad passed. No fun in cooking for one. So the fact she'd thought about it and gone to the trouble of preparing something she knew I would enjoy meant a lot to me. Quite how she'd missed the widespread panic, one could only wonder at, but then BSE was the stuff of news at 10, and Mam avoided the news like the plague, unlike her much-loved Coronation Street, so I could hardly be surprised. I never told Mam I was gay. It never seemed necessary. She always liked Marcus. Had a framed picture of him on the sideboard. Always said things like, "He's been a good friend to you." I had no wish to disillusion her on that score, even after my unexpected return to the UK. She was just glad I'd come back where she could keep an eye on me. The last time I saw Mam was the Sunday afternoon, before the Monday she died. She was sat up in a high-seat chair beside the hospital bed, but was clearly unwell. I took hold of her hand, and she covered mine with her own and said, "Oh, I am glad you've come." And so was I, because, although I didn't know it at the time, it gave me the opportunity to kiss her goodbye and tell her how much I loved her, that we all loved her. And I know all she wanted was to come home here, to this house, but it was not possible. She needed 24/7 care. With the best will in the world, it wasn't doable. But I have to wonder if that wasn't the final blow. I know she was ill, but the thought of not coming back here, was that the end? Can one die of a broken heart for the home they can never return to? Hope this house gets the new family it deserves.